Hello, violins. This is a video about the scale for the audition for symphonic. This is the music that hopefully you potentially have printed off. There are two copies of this, one that I'm calling clean and one that has fingerings on it. And this version has fingerings on it that I have in front of me, and they're the fingerings that I put down. You should know that use whatever fingerings a private teacher gives you first off. That's more important than my fingerings. Although I do start to kind of call myself a violinist now. I don't think I'm a very good one compared to professional violinists. But I feel like I have enough knowledge to be able to have a fingering that does work well. So I'm going to explain my fingering in this video and how it works and why and how I would have you practice it. But again, do the best fingering for you. I also do encourage students to learn multiple fingerings. Maybe not right away, especially if that's confusing to you, but maybe once you've mastered one fingering, you can try another one. Everyone's hand is a different shape and size and just fits on the violin differently, and some fingerings do genuinely work better for certain people over other people. But again, I'd go with what your private teacher says, always, over what this video is in this case. So first off, you should know that there are two flats in this. This is in the key of G minor, which means it's going to have a little bit of a sad feeling to it. But it's also what we call melodic minor. And that's, you see at the top of the page, it says E major and also G melodic minor. The top one that's X'd out is E major. This one is G melodic minor. And the melodic minor means that on the way up, it kind of sounds a little bit like a G major scale. You see that natural on the E and the sharp on the F? Okay, those two things on the way up make it sound kind of a little bit like a major scale, even though you still have a B flat, which makes it sound like the G minor scale. And then on the way down, you'll notice there's a natural sign on the C and a flat on the B. So all of you, I assume, can play a 2-octave G major scale fairly well. And so I would start with that, but then I would lower the B to a B flat and just practice going up the G major scale 2 octaves to get it in your ear. What does it sound like? So here's what that sounds like. Okay, you'll notice a couple things. First off, I accidentally played B natural before I corrected it and made it B flat. Watch out for the B flat. Secondly, I tried to use fourth fingers. That is a standard practice that you should be able to do in your everyday practice. Fourth finger should be just like any other finger. If you're a member of symphonic, make sure you're thinking about, can I use fourth finger? Am I practicing that? That should be standard for you if you're going to be in the symphonic class. So I practice scales that way. I don't have fours or opens marked in my scale, but just know that you should be able to. So either way that you practice it, that'd be important. So on the way up, like I said, that's what it sounds like. On the way down, we have to make the sharps natural, so the F sharp becomes F natural, and the E natural becomes E flat. So I'm going to go down, playing each note twice this time for you. And this is G going down. So G, F natural, low one, E flat, D, C, B flat, A, G, F natural, E flat, D, C, B flat, A, and G. So knowing that is really helpful. Knowing what it sounds like is really helpful. And then two other big things that I think are really helpful and incredibly important for success as a string player and in scales and in all the music we play. You have to know how far apart each note is. Is it a half step away? Is it a whole step away? So just be cognizant or be aware of whether or not that note, the next note you're playing, is a half step up or a whole step up, or a half step down or a whole step down. So that's one big thing to help you be successful, is knowing where those half steps and whole steps are. So be thinking about that as I'm talking about this, doing that. And then the last little thing that I would have you do before I really teach you all the fingerings and have you practice the scale is I would have you do what I call the turnaround. So the top of the scale, the last 4 notes going up, that's D, E, F sharp, G, going up this particular scale. And so, I'll bring it. So I'm going to start on 3, I'm going to go up, and then on the way down, I have to change from the E, F sharp, G to F natural, E flat, D. And that has a very unique particular sound. And to be successful on these scales on auditions, you really have to know what that sound is like in your ear. So here's what that turnaround sounds like. That was me doing it with open E. I'm going to do that now with 4th finger E. And my left hand really has to do a lot. It might not look like it's doing a lot, but I really have to do a lot to make it sound correct. So I'm going to talk slow motion through what I'm thinking here. 3rd finger, reach whole step E, high 1 F sharp, half step to G, low 2, get low 1 ready for F natural, low 4 touching 3 for E flat, high 3 touching 4 for D. So all of that is happening when I'm playing kind of quick. And I don't actually think about that all the time. I know it, and I practice it enough that it can just happen. And that's hundreds, if not thousands of times practicing that turn over and over again. And you're going to have to do that to be successful automatically. Just like you can probably play a D major 1 octave scale without thinking about it and play it pretty well. It's because you've done it hundreds or thousands of times. And so you've got to know that it's right. You've got to think about it. You've got to do it slowly. And then once you have it, you can speed it up over and over time. And that's how you get good at something like this. So it does take time and it does take work. But once you've got it, it's a lot of fun to play and use these scales to play something really fast, like what we do in symphonic. So be aware of that, okay? That turn, be aware of where the half steps are, and make sure you know on the way up, it's more like a G major scale, except for B flat. On the way down, it becomes totally a G minor scale with the E flat and F natural. So, that being said, the first part of this scale, the first measure and a half, is in first position. G1, low 2, 3, 4, 1, low 2, 3, high 2, sorry, F sharp, 3, 4, low 1, B flat, 1, and then instead of 3rd finger on the A string, D, on that second measure, 4th note, you see a -1, meaning shift, the dash is shift, -1 to 3rd position, and I have 1, whole step E, whole step F sharp, half step 4. Then I have a 1, but there's no dash, so I just move my 1 over to the E string. Instead of shifting up or down, I just move it over to the E string, and I have 1A, low 2 for the E flat, or sorry, the B flat, 3rd finger, C, a whole step away, so 1, 2, 3, and then instead of 4th finger, whole step D, I shift up to 1 on the D, high 2 E, high 3 F sharp, low 4 G. Then my 3 and my 2 come down, so it was here, high 2, high 3, whole step, half step, and then on the way down, because of the shift, the turn, I go to low 3, low 2, high 1, then I shift back to 2nd finger B flat again, 1, 4, and this time instead of high 3, 2, 1, I have low 3, low 2, 1 with whole step, half step coming down. So I encourage you to play each note twice, 3, or 4 times as you begin the scale to practice getting it in tune. So that's really, really important. So I'm going to play each note twice, going up, talking about the next note, half step or whole step away, and if we shift into what finger. So hopefully you can keep up with that. Nice, big, strong tone, frog to tip. Ready? Here we go. G twice. First finger A, B flat, half step, yeah. 3, 4th finger D, 1st finger E natural, high 2 F sharp, G half step, 4th finger A whole step, low 1 B flat half step, high 2, shift up 1, D, high 2 E, high F sharp, 3, and low 4 half step, G. 1st finger A, low 2, B flat, 3rd finger C, shift and up to 1, high 2, high 3, low 4 G. Whole step down, low 3, low 2, high 1 touching half step, shift back, 3rd finger C, low 2 B flat, high 1 A, and 4, low 3 whole step, low 2 whole step, high 1 half step, shift back, low 2, low 1, B flat, open A, or 4th finger, 3rd finger G, whole step F natural, low 1, E flat, open, 3, low 2, 1, and open. So that right there is a way that I would have you practice, and that might be too quick for a lot of you still. Maybe 4 times in a row, and then shifting up would give you time to tune it and make it in tune. So do that until you've got it, whether it's 4, 3, or 2, or whatever, till you've got it in tune. Once you can do that, then do 3, 2, or 1. If you were doing 4, make it shorter, and then 2, 1, or then just 1. All right? And I would recommend you also play with what we call a drone. And so if you're a tuner, on your phone that you use to tune, most of them can play a sound. And you turn that sound from an A to a G, and you just let a G play while you're playing. So, I'm obviously singing, but I should have brought a tuner with me, but I did not when I made this video. So using a drone can really help you know if you're right or wrong, because you can hear it. And then every time you get to a G, there's a G playing on the drone. You're like, oh, that's perfectly in tune. At the very top, in the middle, at the bottom, you can listen for those things and listen to how it rings together. So good luck on the scale. Just like I mentioned in the last scale, this one should be about steady pulls, nice tone, strong bow like I was doing. Don't use vibrato on the scale. Just no vibrato. Just are you in tune? Okay? Showing me good posture, sitting tall, instruments on your shoulder well, flat wrist, everything's set up the way that it should be. And then don't go too fast. This should be 2/8 notes per quarter note at 60. So that's 1 and 2 and G, bom, 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 bom is how fast this says to go. Well, if you can only go G, bom, 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 do it that fast. But play with good tone, play with good intonation, and really stay steady in your pulse. That's what we want to hear. So good luck. I hope this video is helpful.